Good evening. My name is Valerie Holmes, and I'm the Assistant City Engineer for Traffic Engineering for the City of Greenville. And tonight is the Neighborhood Traffic Calming Kickoff meeting for Vista Hills. I appreciate you joining tonight and taking time out of your day to participate in this process. So a few housekeeping items. This is how you will navigate through tonight's meeting. You should see a screen similar to what's on the screen now. A lot of questions are going to be answered, so if you wouldn't mind holding your questions until the end, I would greatly appreciate it, and I will answer any questions that come up during the presentation. So in the bottom corner, you will see a button for the list of participants as well as the Q&A box. If you wish to type a question, you can just type it here in this box for Q&A, or if you don't see the Q&A, you can use the chat button. If you wish to speak your question, you can raise your hand. And when you are finished, if you would lower your hand, please, and I will mute and unmute you in order for you to ask your question. So here's the unmute button. You are able to unmute yourself, but again, I would ask that you keep it muted and I will unmute for you to ask your question. And then I will remute once the question is completed. So this is the study area in blue. We have had this process before for this area several years ago, and so we are revisiting it tonight. All of the streets that are within the blue area are contained within the study area, and we will be collecting data on these streets to determine which will be eligible for traffic calming devices. So how did we get here? So we got a request from a citizen within the study area, and we sent them what we call an application, and it was returned to us. And once we get that, then we send out a petition. And I know that this petition process for this particular neighborhood has been a long time coming, and so I congratulate you on successfully completing this step in the process. I know it was very long for you. And so here tonight we are at the kickoff meeting. So where do we go after tonight? Well, we will collect data to present to the study team so that it will inform the plan that you come up with. Once the plan is finalized, we will put it to a vote, and then any passing devices will be scheduled for installation. The data that we collect is listed here. We collect average speed, we collect 85th percentile speed, which means that is the speed that 85% of the people are driving or slower. And then average daily volume is basically a count of how many vehicles travel the area in a given day. We collect the data on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays while school is in session. These are considered typical days of the year. We don't collect data on Mondays and Fridays because generally they are atypical, as well as the weekends. So who develops the plan? The study team is made of volunteers of residents in the area with engineering oversight. And the website that you see there is the website for your specific area. The streets that will be eligible for traffic calming devices will have more than 300 vehicles per day and less than 2,500 vehicles per day. The exception to the 300 vehicle per day threshold is if the 85th percentile speed collected in your area is 10 miles an hour or more over the posted speed limit, then the street will qualify for traffic calming even if it has less than 300 vehicles per day. Generally speaking, the plan comprises of speed humps and landscaped islands, as you can see in the photos. There are other devices that I will explain, but generally speaking, these are the most popular devices that go into a traffic calming plan. These are other traffic calming device categories that you can select from if you wish to pursue more aggressive methods or more creative methods for traffic calming. These are available to you to use. So some things to keep in mind about speed humps. We require certain spacing of 400 to 450 feet. This allows people to travel up to the speed limit in between humps before they have to slow down for the next one. It's good to keep in mind that each speed hump will add approximately 8 seconds of response time for emergency vehicle response, and that the speed humps must be installed with signs. We try to keep the speed humps and signs on property lines, but sometimes it's unavoidable to put a speed hump in front of somebody's house. And oftentimes people do not like the signs that go with him, but we must install the signs with the speed humps. Landscape medians do require owner permission adjacent to those the landscape islands, because it does affect their ability to do on-street parking. If the neighbor does not want to lose the ability to park in front of their home, then we will not be able to put a landscaped island in front of it. And so we request a statement signed testing to the fact that they will allow the island in front of their home. And then speed cushions are another type of device that are similar to speed humps, but they do not fully go across the road. They leave wheel paths for the emergency vehicle so they don't have to slow down. But also keep in mind that it also does not slow down FedEx or UPS vehicles, which oftentimes can be the worst offenders. So how is the plan voted on? Well, each item will be listed and voted on individually. A device that receives a 70% yes vote based on the votes received will pass and will be eligible for installation. You don't have to vote on every single item. You can vote on one or all of them. It's up to you. Any item that does not receive a response will not count for or against that item. It's just a null vote. Anybody over the age of 18 or a licensed driver within the household is eligible to vote in the traffic calming process. So when are the devices installed? Well, it's based on scheduling. Once we determine the plan and have figured out what is going to get installed, we send those items over to our Public Works Department, as they are responsible for installing the speed humps and the landscaped islands. It depends on how long it takes for them to receive the materials, but generally speaking, speed humps take 1 to 2 days per device to install. So this is the contact information for the city. David Harding will be the point on this project. So please direct any questions that you have to him. This is his email and phone number. And again, this is the website that you can visit to check the progress of the traffic calming process for your neighborhoods. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a great evening.